Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you to my lockdown classroom. Things are going to be a little bit different, at least for the first part of this school year. So a lot of my lessons are going to be coming from actually my own studio here in my own home that I'm now referring to as my lockdown classroom. Today's lesson is going to be about a Japanese art form, the art of folding paper to create little sculptures, and probably the most popular Japanese fold called origami is the origami crane. So origami is the Japanese art form of folding paper to create little paper sculptures. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and I'm going to teach you today how to fold a crane like this. I have a couple examples right here, and obviously all you need is paper. So let's get started. Let me set these back over here, and you can use just a basic piece of computer printer paper. Now, origami traditionally, there's lots of different people doing lots of different types of origami, but traditional origami is a fold that's done from just one piece of paper, and that piece of paper is a square piece of paper. That's how traditional origami is done. Now, there are lots of other variations of origami. You'll see people using like dollar bills to create little sculptures and things like that, and that's a variation of origami. But the traditional Japanese art form uses a single piece of a square piece of paper. So now you might be saying, but Mr. Adkins, my printer paper is not square, it's rectangular. That's right. But the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to easily make it a square. Even if you don't have a ruler or scissors, you can do this. And I'm going to do it without a ruler or scissors or pencil or anything, just a piece of paper in my hands, and I'm going to show you how to, first of all, make your paper square. So let's go ahead and set your paper down on the tabletop. And what you're going to want to do is, and let me stress this right now, all of these folds, you're going to want to take your time and try to do it as perfect as you can, and line your edges and corners up as close as you can, and make nice crisp folds in your paper. So let's start by, we're going to fold the paper over just like this. And we're going to first of all make sure that we get the fold starting right at the corner of the paper there. And then we're going to line the edges up exactly as closely as we can. And once we've done that, that's when we'll make our crease. Okay? Now, when you're making your creases in origami, you might want to take your thumb like this, the thumbnail on the back of your crease, and just make it nice and crisp. Okay, now, if you had a pencil and some scissors, you could just sort of use this edge of the paper right here as a straight edge to draw a little line, and then take your scissors and cut along it to cut your square. But as I said, I'm only working with paper today. I don't have any rulers, don't have any scissors or pencils or anything like that. So I'm going to show you how to do it even if you don't have any of that stuff. Okay, so you have a piece of paper that looks like this now. Okay, so what you can do is go ahead and flip it over, and then fold this back like this. And here again, you want to start it right on that corner as closely as you can, and then make your fold right along the edge of the piece of paper underneath, just like that, as close as you can. And then, as always, make sure you have a nice crisp crease right there. Okay. Okay, so now when you unfold this and unfold that, you'll see that this crease, the second crease or fold that we just did right here, you'll see that if you fold it back, we now have a square. Okay, but the paper is not square yet because we still have this flap right here on it. So how do we get rid of that if we don't have any scissors? Well, you've already made this crease right here. So now what I want you to do is fold it back the other direction. Make the crease. Okay, you might want to lay it on your tabletop again. Make sure that you use the back of your thumbnail. Make sure it's nice and crisp. And then go back again. And I would do it at least back and forth at least a couple of times. So you give it at least 4 times that you fold it over. And then what you can also do to make the paper rip a little bit more cleanly and easily is you might want to take, well, you can take your tongue if you want, but if you want to be careful you don't get paper cuts, you don't have to use your tongue. You can just moisten your finger a little bit and get the edge of that paper kind of moist. In fact, you might want to flip it over and do the other side. Go ahead and fold it back this way. Do the other side just the way you did that one. Okay, now that paper you're going to see, let's go ahead and set it back down on the tabletop. And if you just start right here at one edge of it and get it started, and then you can just sort of put your hand down to add a little pressure on this side, and then take your hand and pull it this way. And if you take your time, do it carefully, it's going to go right along that edge there. And you have a nice straight cut on your paper. And now you have a square piece of paper. And now you're ready to actually begin your origami. So let's go ahead and start folding our crane. We can set this piece of paper aside, and I will. Okay, now you've already got the first fold done right here. That's this fold right here is the first fold that you will use to make your origami crane. Now, when in the process of origami, a lot of times you'll make a fold, and then right after you make the fold, you'll unfold it. Okay? And you'll soon see why, because that will help you with some of your future folds by having just that crease there without it actually folded. Now, let's go ahead and fold it the other direction, the other diagonal. First of all, line those corners up as closely as you can. All right. And then make your crease. Okay. Take the back of your thumbnail, and make it nice and crisp. Okay. And now you've got a fold like this. Okay. So now, the reason that you might think, oh, if it's off a little bit, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. And right now, it wouldn't really make a very big difference. However, down the road, if you make some of these first folds and they're off just a little bit, down the road, as you go along, it's going to make it more difficult for you to do your other folds. So always try to be as precise as you can, okay? All right, so now, our next fold that we're going to do, let's go ahead and turn our paper like this. And now this crease right here, we unfolded it, but there's a good reason that we unfolded it, or that we put that crease there, because we're going to actually use it and we're going to fold it back the other way. So what I want you to do is take your hand, stick it in between the paper here, put with your other hand, put your index finger and your thumb right there to hold that side down, lift this one up, and it will fold just that top piece of paper like that, and you'll see that it creates a little pocket for you to put your hand in. I suggest that you go ahead and take one of your fingers and push it down as far as you can towards this end right here, just to make the fold better. And then this fold right here, we're going to fold it back the other way, just like that. Okay, and go ahead and put the crease down. Now it's up like this. Now what we want to do is take this part down and line it up right on that corner as closely as we can. Put it right on there, and then go ahead and put the crease in the fold right here. Just like that. Use your thumbnail to make it nice and crisp. Okay? Now, we have a piece of paper that looks like this. Okay? So now, let's turn it over, and we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Put your hand between the papers here. Okay, and right along the crease right there, put your finger right there and your thumb right there. Pull it back. You're creating this pocket that your hand is in. Go ahead and take your finger, make sure it goes down there and get that crease. Fold that crease back that way as much as you can. Then take and line up your corner as closely as you can. As close as you can. Once you've got it all lined up, go ahead and put the crease in your folds. And now we've got a smaller square. Okay? Now, okay, so we have this square like this. Now, what you want to do, what's important is to keep track of the orientation of your paper. Even though it's a square, it's not all sides are the same. This is what the corner that we're going to, for now, refer to as the top. And that's where all the pieces of paper come together. You can't take any of the pieces of paper apart right there. It all comes together right here. And then on the two sides, you've got two little corners right here. Then on the bottom, it all opens up just like that. It's all completely loose on the bottom. But the top, everything comes together. So that's what we're going to refer to as the top. So lay it down just like that, and here's your top. And the next thing I want you to do is take just one, not the bottom one, but just the top section, and line it up right with the crease. Line this edge right here. We're going to line up right with that crease. Just like that. Okay, and once it's lined up perfectly, take your thumbnail and put a nice crisp fold in there. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Just the top one, leave the bottom one right there. Okay. Now, and then use your thumbnail to make a nice crisp fold. All right. Now let's flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, now you have a shape that looks something like a kite. This looks kind of like a kite. Okay, if you've ever flown a kite, the tail would come down here, your string would go like that, and you'd fly around. Okay, now, what I want you to do next, lay it back down on the table. On this line right here, that was created by folding these two sides in, I want you to use that as a guideline to fold the top part of your kite back just like that, and put a nice crisp crease in there. Okay, and as I said before, a lot of times you fold these things and you put a nice crisp fold in there. The next thing you do is open it up, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to open this up because that fold right there is going to help us with the next fold. So what I want you to do now is open these up just like this. Take just the top section of paper and hold your fingers right there, right on that crease that we just made, and lift up, keeping your hand in there. You're only pulling up one piece of paper, and fold it back. So we're going to fold this back the opposite way. Now, these folds right here, these are going to go back the opposite way too. So take your hands and make sure that those go back the opposite direction. And now we're going to get a nice crisp fold there. Use your thumbnail. And now we've created kind of a diamond shape, okay? All right, now let's flip it over because we have this side. Now we're gonna do essentially the same thing over on this side. Open up this, just like this. Take just the top piece, open it up, just like that. Hold your fingers and thumb right on that crease that we had made previously. Fold it back along that crease. Okay, you want to reverse these creases too. Okay. Fold it back. Just like that. All right. Now, we still have a diamond shape. Okay, now, right here where we referred to as the top, this is what we were referring to as the top before. Okay, we're going to still call this the top. And then we have, you'll notice the difference between the two sides, the top and the bottom, is that the bottom has like little legs because it's sort of, you can wiggle it apart like that, but the top part is all one piece. You can't really do that. So you want to take it, set it down again on your tabletop, and then the section where on the bottom section where you have the little legs, what you want to do is take this edge right here and fold it over to match up right on that edge, but just the top one. Leave the bottom one down. Don't do this one down here. Just do the top one. Line those edges up. just like that. Okay, use your thumbnail and make a nice crisp fold. And you could probably guess what we're going to do next. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Just like that. Use your thumbnail, push down firmly to make a nice crisp fold. Okay, and you could probably guess what we do next. We're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side with each of these. Okay. Make your folds nice and crisp. Use that thumbnail. Okay, now here's what we've got. Okay, maybe by now you can sort of start to see how it's going to be a bird. These things right here, these are going to be the wings. They already look like the wings, don't they? Okay, so what we want to do now is take either one of these and pull them up. And this fold right here, we want to reverse that fold. We want to reverse that, pull it up like that, and we're going to reverse that fold. Fold it in this direction. Oh, now we can see that could either be the tail or the head coming up. Okay, and you guessed it, we do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to reverse this fold right here. See how these open up like this? We're going to reverse that. Pull it up like that. Okay. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to take, looks like right now it looks like we have two tails. What we're going to do, what we can do is take this one and just fold it in like this to make the little head of the crane, just like that. Make the head of the crane just like that. Okay, and now take our wings, put them down like this, and voila! There we have it. You just made an origami crane. Now, some of you may have already done this before. I know a lot of you, origami is a very popular thing and it's fun to do, and some of you have probably already made an origami crane before, but for those of you that you haven't, you just made your first origami crane. Congratulations.